All right, here we go. All right, we are 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds into being live on YouTube. Let's see
All right.
who, if anybody shows up.
There'll be somebody here. I
Yeah,
have a
somebody.
feeling you're gonna have some of your best viewers tonight.
Well, oh, we got two people watching right now. Welcome, welcome. As you may have seen in my other video. Now I want to talk about the videos that I made here in the last Blasted Cats here. Who let them play alloy boats out? That's true. All right. But what we're going to do here is, if you saw in my last,
Dave, I think we're froze up here. A little technical difficulty. Hello. Dave? Hold on. I'm going to refresh the page here again.
you there, Gary?
Yeah, something happened. I don't know what it
Oh yeah,
was.
the whole thing just crashed.
Yeah.
All right. Yep, something just happened. I had my phone. I just texted you.
Yeah,
All right.
I refreshed the page and we're back.
Okay. Well, they said they gave me a screen. If this happens again, let them know. All right. Well, either way, I was in the middle of a goddamn story. I did a video and it had that picture of the Acme Sidewinder spoon on it. Okay. That was the newest spoon that I got. And I talked about how, I remember Acme stuff back when I was a kid. Okay. Little Acme spoons I used to use in ponds and lakes and stuff when I was little. And the sound, it was the one I did when I was sitting in my lazy boy. You saw that one, didn't you, Gary?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. My dad said, "Why did you do that in your lazy boy where we're looking at your leg?" And I told him, I said, because two videos that I did while I was in my lazy boy went over extremely well. One of them was talking about my Thorogood boots. Okay. And another one is when I was talking about a buck knife. And I was sitting there looking at my box and I said, "Hey, let me just do a video for my lazy boy." And what turned out is I was using one of my GoPro Hero 5s, and that video, um, something went terribly wrong with the audio. And I tested it, and the problem is the camera. The camera is what's wrong with that video. The muffled. Did you notice it was real muffly sounding?
Yeah. It sounded like you were like had put something over the mic or something like that.
You know what? It turns out it's the camera because I tested it. There's something wrong with that GoPro. So I had to put a little sticker on it for just video only. No, I'm not going to use that for audio. Thank God I got a couple more GoPros. I think I got 5 total, but not hero.
Okay.
So then I said, well, I'll do another video and I'll add a little fishing footage of old me and Traveler Bob out there on freezing cold days. Because, you know, you can catch a decent fish on freezing cold days. You just can't tell potential charter customers that. I mean, you won't believe how many tire kickers I am getting that can't afford it. I don't know what they're thinking, that a charter on a private boat, you know, is what, $29.95? I don't know what they're thinking. I do not know what they're thinking, because they call me, they email me, and I never hear from them again. And that's a sure sign of I can't afford it. You know?
Well, what they're probably thinking is, coming from out of state, they're probably thinking, we're in Florida. What can we do that's actually affordable? Well, the charter fishing, maybe that's cheap. You know, something along those lines, maybe.
Well, I got an email yesterday morning for a woman who wanted to do a 2-hour kids trip with her 8-year-old or 6-year-old or something. Right, and I do those trips for $300 for 2 hours. They sometimes go over the 2 hours, as usual. So I have to build in that possibility that it's an absolute shit morning, the wrong tide, and the only thing we caught was some stinking little catfish. So I'm out there using shrimp. I'm out there using the tackle. I'm out there using, let's see, non-ethanol right now is, I think, $4.35, and diesel's back up to $5. Wow. So I'm out there using this fuel, and she says, oh, it's just the two of us, and I'm 6 months pregnant or something. I don't know why she threw that in there. I could care less. But I've had 9-month-old, I've had 6-month pregnant women pull in 100-pound blacktip sharks before. So I had a super woman on my boat one time who did that. But in all reality, she emailed me, and then I told her, I said, that's up to 4 people. Never heard another word from her. And she was right here in Lake City, Florida, which is just due west of Jacksonville, about 2 hours.
Right.
I don't know what the heck she was thinking. $29.95 to take this kid out fishing? Ain't gonna happen.
Maybe the unborn child, she thought you were going to count that as.
I don't know. But either way, she couldn't handle it or whatever. So, but maybe these are possible people for the future. But I am going to go tomorrow. The truck is backed up to the boat. I'm going tomorrow, and I'm throwing spoons, and I'm only throwing spoons. That's it. Low tide about 10:30, 11:30, something like that. Felt like it was almost 80 degrees today. Southwest winds tomorrow, light southwest. Everything ought to be good. So if something happens, of course, there'll be video of it.
Well, that's great.
So I can't take it anymore. I gotta go. I mean, all these tire kickers are just killing me. Absolutely killing me. So the topic tonight was supposed to be about trailers. But before let's see, Frank says, I could be out there fishing, but I am here just for you, Captain Dave. Well, thanks, Frank. You could be out there fishing. Isn't it getting dark out there too? Yeah. Well,
it is.
Some people love fishing at night, but I don't run the St. Johns River at night. I do not do it. We got dredge crap all over and things like that. I'm not doing it. But we were supposed to talk about trailers. And the reason I came up with this is for the sheer fact that the other day I'm greasing my hubs. Okay. And I'm thinking about my trailer. And of course, I always talk about my trailer. The Rolls Axle is the name of it. And I've had it for so long. And I was thinking to myself, I've done nothing to this trailer. I've done hardly anything to it. I mean, I put on new LED lights. I have the bearings changed out if I can once a year. I did have a wheel fall off one time, and I don't know why that wheel fell off, and the spindle on the end got all chewed up. But the guys at the trailer place, they smoothed it out, and that still is the only one that I have issues with, and I get a lot of grease blowout on the trailer, because what I have is, of course, you got your hub, right, and then you got the center axle part, and then there's a cap over it, of course. That cap has a rubber seal, and you pull that seal out, and on the end of the spindle is the Zerk fitting. And then even on top of that, I put other rubber caps. And what I still get is a lot of pressure building up in that hub, I guess, because of that spindle not being exactly perfect. And to change that out, oh my God, I either got to replace the axle, because who's going to cut it off and take a stainless steel spindle and be able to weld it on there so perfectly? I don't believe that's going to happen. So that's the only really issue that I have. I've done nothing to this trailer. It's got the Rolls axle aluminum spring system. Now people say, aluminum spring system. Well, what it is, it's the axle has a built-in like cantilever thing. And then down here, there's another part, and there's a cup here with a rubber in it. And what it does is it comes down, it rides in another cup down here. So it's not like a spring, not like a leaf spring, not like a torsion bar. And this is a patented system that this man invented. And it is the greatest. Frank says, I fish at night, in daytime, anytime. Oh, that's true. But this system does not fail. Now, through time, I've had some cracks in the weld of all this going on the axle, but that whole thing could break, and it's still not going to let it fail, really. So, hello, Ron. So, my trailer, if I replaced it today, I bought it. I believe I bought it, and I thought it was $6,000, but I believe I found the old paperwork on it, and tax, tag, and title out the door for I think it's a 27, 28 foot long trailer. Back when I bought it, at least 17, 18 years ago, it was $4,600. And to replace that trailer right now and maybe upgrade to 15-inch rims and tires, which I would do. The last time I talked to him, which was about a year or two ago, my trailer would be $10,000. But is it worth it? Yeah, because there's that old saying that your boat is only as good as your trailer, because unless you can get it to the water, you ain't going fishing. And I walk through the boat ramp all the time, and I see trailers that, oh my God, if you see them going down the road, you better get on the far lane, because you don't want to be nowhere near that guy. I don't know where they're trailing them from, but I wanted to ask any viewer, we got 7 people watching right now. I wanted to think about this for a minute. I wanted to ask viewers, because I don't know who else to ask. I don't have any other audience to ask. Does anybody have those oil bath hubs? Grease is nice, and I've heard the difference between those oil bath hubs and grease hubs is, oh, if you bang it or something like that, and all your oil pulls out, and you don't know about it, you don't see it, you have absolutely no security that you're going to burn them bearings up in a New York minute. You know what I mean? But if you have something go wrong with a greased hub, at least there's still grease all in the bearing itself, and you could still probably limp down the road without killing the bearings. Let's say if the cap come flying off, you banged into something. I've heard all kinds of different stories, but I would love to know if, let's say, Rolls Axle does those oil bath, because I believe those oil bath seems to me that the maintenance on them would be easier. Pumping out the grease on your bearings, pumping it all out, okay? Short Sharp's here, and he says, I'm wondering the same thing about the oil bath bearings. Now, I do know the company, I do know the company I work for, all their 18-wheelers have oil bath bearings. Well, let me tell you, Ryan, guess what? That was about my next statement, is I don't see big trailers going down the road, okay, with, the trailer, being pumped up with a goddamn grease gun or something. It seems so old-fashioned. So Blasted Cat says, yes, sir, Vortex oil bath bearings on my big trailer. Old school grease hubs on my small trailer. All right, well, tell me about these. Were they an aftermarket, or do you have to buy the hubs? Because let me stop right there before I go any further. I have all stainless steel hub. I will never own steel hubs the rest of my life. I stopped that 17, 18 years ago when I put that Rolls Axle trailer under my old Maycraft in preparation for my aluminum boat. So I had that Rolls Axle trailer about a year underneath my old Maycraft. With those stainless hubs, they're the greatest thing in the world. I got stainless hubs, stainless studs, stainless lug nuts, aluminum axle, sheathed aluminum axle. It's a steel bar. And when I was down at the Rolls Axle factory, which wasn't much of a factory, it's a guy and his two sons, which are twins. And by now they're probably like 20. When I was down there, they looked like they were about 16 years old. And these kids are master welder fabricators at this age. So it didn't look like there was an assembly line. These trailers, Rolls Axles, are built by hand by these three people. From what I got, I don't even think they had any employees. The guy's mom in their 80s is the receptionist. Sweet old lady sitting up front, just full of stories. Oh my God. And when I was down there, he showed me, he pointed at it in this nasty, dirty shop. And I said, that's an aluminum axle. And he says, no, not really. It's sheathed. He says, we got a 60-something thousand pound press that takes that solid steel bar that the axle's made out of and presses it into an aluminum square sheathing, which turns out to be like a sheathing. And then they weld it shut with a stainless steel spindle sticking out the end. So there you go. I won't have anything. So I'm wondering, these oil bath hubs, I'm wondering, do you buy them? You buy the whole thing? I mean, I'm just wondering, I got to look it up. I did look it up a few years ago, but I never talked to anybody who actually owns them. And I think that's what I'd like to go to next time around. Oil baths are used on 18-wheelers. Once you put them in the water, you run the risk of water intrusion. Give me grease. Well, that's true, but this is 2023, Frank. I don't know. That's what I want to know. Blasted Cat says he's got them on a big trailer. What do you mean by big trailer? A big trailer that never sees salt water? I walk the boat ramp. Blasted Cat says Vortex has a sealed grease system also. So is it grease plus oil in there or what? Because as I walk around the boat ramp, I see some of these super high dollar trailers. I mean, super duper high dollar trailers on these big, 38 contenders and yellowfins and shit like that. They always seem to have the oil bath system. So I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm going to have to look it up. But as I was sitting there pumping and squeezing, because mine with the Zerk fitting on the very end of the axle, the grease goes in, and then there's like holes in there, and it pushes the grease back out from the bearings. So that's one of the. It takes like a goddamn half a tube of grease minimum to pump all the old grease out. So let's say, it seems like I get halfway through it and I run out of grease and I got to put the tube in. You know what a messy job that is. Good God. Everything to do with greasy hubs is a mess. That's the reason why I take my trailer to the trailer guy and have him replace the bearings for me. So Matthew McDonald says, can we talk about aluminum versus fiberglass? Oh, you're getting into a whole nother topic there, We're talking about trailers, man. We're talking about trailers. Yeah. Why do we not see more aluminum boats in Florida? Because you know why? Florida pretty much is, well, to quote what I've heard, about South Florida, every boat down there, if it doesn't look like a Cuban penis extender, then, hey, you ain't part of the cool guy system. Because aluminum boats, I'll tell you right off the get-go, when you buy an aluminum boat, okay, you're not going to Billy Bob's goddamn boatyard down the street and going in there with the wife and the kids and going, oh, do you like the one with the purple drapes or the blue drapes? How about the carpet? Oh, I like this. No, you go get an aluminum boat. Number one, you have to have it built. Most people ain't going to wait around. Then we got a boat show going on right this weekend in downtown Jettywolf, Florida. The most boringest boat. Oh my God. Once you go to Miami or Fort Lauderdale or any of those really big boat shows, Jacksonville's boat show is like it's like a raindrop in a pond compared to down there. So let's see. Ron says, I think oil bath bearings last longer, but they are not really serviceable. You just replace them.
Dave, I'll be right back.
All righty.
Just give me 1 second.
Blasted Cat says, my 215 Aquasport sits on the Vortex oil hubs. The 19 Key West on the greased hubs. Huh. Well, Larry, we might have to talk and chit-chat a little better sometime because I'm just wanting to know. I'll look that up, Vortex. Long as I can have hubs that are stainless with stainless steel lug nuts and all that. Because once you go stainless, you ain't going back to steel. I mean, my trailer doesn't even have brakes on it. So I don't have to service brakes. I don't have to, because the weight of of the aluminum boat isn't that much. I mean, I put on the damn exhaust brake on my truck. That's all I need to come down a bridge, whatever. So that's one thing I wanted to cover is I don't know anything about those oil bath hubs, but I'm really thinking about it. If I was to kind of go over my trailer and what I consider maybe modernize it, because the lights need to be changed. I'd like to change the lights out one more time. And I'd like to, I mean, if I went to the Miami Boat Show, this would probably be so easy because there's all these companies down there and you probably walk right up and the guy goes, oh, you want stainless hubs with oil bath here? Boom, 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 boom. I mean, he probably got it. You know, you can see it right in front of you. Robert Harris says, do you ever go crappie fishing in the St. John's and you just stick to salt water? I just stick to salt water. I don't do any freshwater fishing. So I'll explain it to you this way. Around me, water everywhere and not a drop to drink. Okay, that usually puts it in perspective. They want to sell you the most expensive option. Oh yeah, Ron says when you go to Billy Bob's Boat Yard, with that whole COVID thing that happened where everybody, every Tom, Dick, Harry, and goddamn Alice went out and bought a boat, I was saying to myself, man, in my other life, I know I could do it right now. I know I could do it now. Is I'd love to be a boat salesman because my God, could I load these people up on all that bullshit. I mean, when you see a 20-foot, 21-foot Carolina skiff with a 16-mile radome built into the T-top, really? Do you need that on that size boat? Plus, they'll put a poling platform on the back because you're going to be poling, but then you got this ginormous T-top that gets blown in the wind, and then you can't see when you're on top of that. And then the double power poles. Oh, got to have the double power poles. And you got to have the trolling motor with, and then them guys have them key fobs, or they got them remotes hanging around their neck. And then, as I'm learning, because I'm watching all these channels on YouTube, now there's that forward-looking radar, sonar. What's they call that? Oh, iFish has it. I mean, this shit is so expensive. Oh my God, what is that called? Garmin makes it and stuff. It's not look-down radar, and it's not side scan radar. It's this thing where you could throw out a lure and you can watch it sink.
Yeah, it has a really weird looking transducer to it too.
Yeah. And you know what?
Yeah.
I watched Hank Parker, Mr. Bass, right, talking about that. And he's out there and he's looking down at it on his boat. And I'm thinking, what did fishing become? When did fishing become a goddamn video game?
Yeah, you know what, Dave? I actually year before last I put a new stereo in my boat.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I think you told me.
Yeah, and this year I put new batteries in it.
I knew you were going to say that because me and Gary talked about. I'm at the boat ramp and I look over. This is the summertime. You ain't going to see these dudes out in the winter. You ain't going to see these guys with blowing 20, 25 knots.
No.
Right?
Nope.
And I think I took a picture one time and I sent it to you or something. This guy had deck lighting. He put that rope lighting, that LED rope lighting up on his gunnels, and it's going purple, red, green, blue.
Yeah, you need that.
Green. And then he takes off from the boat ramp with his stereo blasting, and it's 6 a.m. And I'm thinking, this guy, number one, he ain't a fisherman. You know, there's certain things that fishermen do, and then there's certain things that other people do, right?
Yeah.
David Carrillo says live scope. That's what that thing is. Ron Swanson said live view.
Yeah.
Live view, live scope, same thing. Let's see. Ron says, I had that live scope and I got rid of it. I felt like I was watching the screens too much and fishing wasn't as peaceful. You just sucked the words right out of my mouth, Ron Swanson. I mean, come on. I mean, it's just video game fishing. When, you know, that's what kills me. You know, I call it the easy button. You know, just push that easy button. You don't need to know shit. You don't need to know anything these days. Short Sharp says, I like fiberglass boats, wood cord hulls because I can fix them. Aluminum boats are tough as hell, but the ride is nowhere near as good as a fiberglass boat. Well, they can be if they just overbuild them. The guy that I bought my boat off of, Black Lab Marine in Yarmouth, Maine, is where I got my boat. And named Jay Parada. When he kind of gave up being a rep for the company and selling the boats under his own brand, Black Lab Marine, he and some other guys that were naval architects got together, and they got plans built by a pretty famous naval architect that does a lot of boats for boat companies and stuff. And they built a boat called the Rock Salt. And oh my God, was this thing. Very, very, very reminiscent of one of the, which of course is a company that builds all the Coast Guard boats. All the Coast Guard patrol boats is a company named Metal Shark. And Metal Shark will build you whatever you want. But this thing, he put the whole build up on, I think it was, might have been, a boat forum that me and a friend of mine kind of developed together called aluminamalloyboats.com. If you go there today, you'll still see Jettywolf. I mean, I was just on there like crazy. I kind of had to give it up because I started really doing a lot of YouTube back then. But they actually built this aluminum boat to weigh something like 12,500 pounds or something. I mean, they built it to go through seas. And he actually brought it to Jacksonville, Florida. And unfortunately, it was the middle of the summer. He drove it from the Carolinas, I believe, down to Miami. And then I caught him on the way up. He came back up and he brought it into a marina here. I gave him, what marina to go to gas up, take a shower, all that kind of stuff, because he was just running. He was just running it in the open ocean and stuff. And it was flat calm. I couldn't get a feel of the boat other than it rode heavy compared to anything I've ever been in that was aluminum, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, the reason I got mine, I don't care about me. I don't care about the way it rides. I want it to go shallow. I want it to be fuel efficient as holy hell. So that was the reason I got it. And I wanted a real bay boat, which I consider my boat more of a bay boat than a lot of boats because I can go places. I've been in places with my boat. I've never seen it. A 26-foot Pathfinder ever where I'm at. Ever. I've never seen them there. And I'm up in, just like in my last video I showed, I'm up in 2 foot. And I said, I'm in a real bay boat because I'm looking around. I don't see any of these bay boats up there. But either way, that's one of the things I'm glad to know. Somebody who actually has those oil bath hubs. I'd be willing to give it a try if I could get stainless ones and I can afford it. I can't imagine what they cost if they were to be stainless. So with that said, there's a little information I wanted to suck out of you folks and then tell you about my trailer. I'll tell you one thing I will say about my trailer. I do not believe I will ever own another boat without a Rolls axle trailer underneath of it. That's how good my trailer has been to me. Okay. I mean, flawless performance all these years. And this, the way it's built, it has a carriage underneath of it. And the bunks don't sit like this. They don't sit like this. And you just move them in and out. It's got the bunks, and when you move them in and out, they go with the hull shape. They go like this with the hull shape, which is different. So it's different. Okay, let's see. How heavy is your boat with trailer? I don't know. I don't know. I believe my boat, they said the dry weight was 2,600 pounds. That was a standard center console, nothing fancy, nothing else built into it, no top on it. And then, of course, whatever my trailer weighs. I mean, it's got aluminum girders on it that are, I don't know, aluminum beams that are six inches at least, or 6-8 inches. So I don't know, I'd take a wild guess. Boat, motor, trailer, top, the whole 9 yards. My boat, 26 feet long. Maybe 4,000, 4,500 or something, maybe is what maybe the whole total weight would be. I'm not really sure. I've never put it on one of those scales. That's one thing that would be interesting to do, is take it and put it on one of those truck scales. I don't even know where one of those are. I'd have to go find one out on the highway somewhere. Isn't that where they are, Gary? Isn't that where you find those?
Actually, when you want to see in New York, let's just say you build your own trailer, which some guys do.
Yeah.
We have the New York State registered weight stations, like a scrap yard, a yard that would take scrap and things like that. Their scale is certified by the state. You can bring your trailer there, put it on that scale. It's a huge scale. I mean, you could fit an 18-wheeler on. You put it on that scale, and then they give you the weight, and that's certified by New York. And then, when you go to register it, it's appropriately, you're charged by, its weight, and it's a scrapyard has those up here. You do it,
because I see them. I think I see them out on the highways.
Yeah, those are more for. I mean, I don't even know if you could actually, bring your boat trailer there and have it just weighed. I think those are more for law enforcement, making sure that, the roads aren't being beat up. But like I say, there's places that have New York State, they're privatized. You pay a small fee, but you put it on there. It's accurate because they have the weights and measures. People come and make sure that it's accurate, and then you give them a couple of bucks and they weigh it for you.
Yeah. Ron here says any scrap place will have them. Well, I don't even know where there's a scrap place. To tell you the truth, I'd have to go find one. But just off ballpark, I'm going to say $4,000 with the engine. I don't really know. 4,000 pounds possibly. While we have 11 people viewing, I'm going to make another announcement. Is that Ron says same in Ohio. Okay.
Yeah.
Ron must be in Ohio. Okay. Live streams. This was basically a test. Okay. This was basically a test, the ones that I've been doing. Okay. Live streams are now, from now on, because I can tell you honestly, it's a little tough sometimes. It's probably tough for a lot of viewers at this time of day, which depends on where you're at. On the East Coast, it's 6:40 right now. It's a little tough on Sundays for me to do this. I picked the time. I did a little poll on my community page, but we all know what that's like. How many people see a community page for your channel? So I will announce it when we're going to do a live stream. And I want it to be more of there's a giveaway, there's an event, there's something kind of going on. And then I will announce it prior, like on a Thursday or Friday maybe. And then we do the live stream on Sunday. All right. So, Frank comes in and says Florida trailer rigs require brakes if the weight is over 3,000 pounds. I just looked it up. Total weight. All right. Well, I only go like 4 minutes from my house, so I'm certainly not doing brakes on my trailer right now. That's just something I'm not going to get into after how many years? I mean, that means I should have had brakes on my old Maycraft. Total weight plus my Maycraft, I believe, was 23 Maycraft. I think it was something like 2,800 pounds without the engine. I don't know. I think that doesn't mean. I mean that means you could have a pretty little small boat, and you're going to need brakes if it weighs over 3,000 pounds.
I cut them off.
Huh?
I cut them off.
Yeah, but I mean, 3,000 pounds isn't nothing when it comes to a boat. I mean, that's nothing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it also depends on what you towing it with. If you're gonna tow a boat with a smaller, like a 150. The calipers and the rotors in that are going to be a lot smaller than if you're towing it with a 250 or a 350. You know what I'm saying? You have a little more braking power with a bigger truck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's saying Florida trailer rigs require brakes if the weight is over 3,000 pounds total weight. That's a 19-foot center console.
Basically, yeah.
With a 150 or a 200 on the back, it's supposed to have brakes.
Yeah.
No, I see them all the time. They're a single axle and there ain't no brakes. So either way, I mean, that whole brake thing, what a nightmare that is. How many times you're standing at the boat ramp? I especially see it in these tournaments. People are pulling in. I'm there. I'm in the water. Was there 2 hours before these guys. So I'm just dilly-dallying around because I wanted to get there, get a parking spot, didn't want to deal with the zoo of, let's say, snapper season, first day of snapper season or something, which I don't give two hoots about. So my boat's in the water. So I'm walking around in the parking lot looking at trailers and talking to friends or something. And you hear these guys pulling out of the water or pulling into the boat ramp. Right. And I look and they're not even on their brakes. It shouldn't even be, what are those pressure brakes? Those when the trailer comes forward, it pushes them.
Surge brake. Surge
brakes. They got either regular brakes or surge brakes or whatever the hell. And you hear as they're going down, driving by, you hear them brakes scraping and scratching and everything. And then there's those times when you see guys pull it out of the water and their wheels are all locked up and their couple back tires are going and the front.
Yeah, they locked up. Yep.
I'm like,
that's why I cut them off. I don't go far. In fact, I don't even really use my trailer.
I know you don't either. That's the biggest problem with buying a used boat in Florida. That is the biggest problem. Is I looked at a lot of boats and all these people hanging their boats off of lifts. They don't even own a trailer. If they do, it's a piece of crap, right? So if you're looking at a used boat and they're hanging it most of the time on the back of their house in one of those Southwest Florida canals, then you might as well just go get a trailer. You might as well go buy a new trailer, because who wants that old piece of crap that's been sitting on the side of their house, or they don't even own one? Evidence of the fact is that Hurricane Ian went in and wiped out Southwest Florida, and nobody took their boat with them. They're ended up across the canal, and their friend across the street there, or across the canal, their neighbor, their boat is in their swimming pool. People left, and they didn't even take their boats. I watched an entire video of Towboat US with a barge, work boats, and a crane going and picking boats up off the land and putting them back in the water, or putting them on the barge and then swinging them up into a parking lot and all this stuff. And I said to myself, why didn't these people take their boat with them? Don't they own a trailer? Don't they own a tow vehicle? I don't know. Blasted Cat says he is correct about that. That I guess Florida trailer rigs require brakes if the weight is over 3,000 pounds. I just looked it up, what Frank said. So I guess that means, Blasted Cat, do you have trailers? Do you have brakes on those two boats that you were just talking about? I mean, you don't even have to have a big boat. I guess it has to have brakes. How about these guys going down the road full of all this trailers full of all this lawn equipment? I mean, they'll have, 4 giant tractor things on it. They got all their gas cans, all their weed whackers, all that stuff. That might be total over 3,000 pounds. I doubt that they got brakes on those lawn trailers. I'm just putting it out there. I don't know how. I don't know. I mean, they sell you a trailer, let's say, with a 19-foot boat with a engine on the back. It's a pretty heavy duty boat, or a 20-foot boat. And you might even get, on some of these boats, 18, 19-foot boat, you might only get a single axle trailer. So is it, and they don't even sell you one with, it's a package deal, and it doesn't even come with brakes. So I don't understand that. Not on my Key West, and I will not be. They came with the big trailer. Okay, so all right. So your Key West, is that the one that I saw that you were fishing with, the guy with all the tattoos and the cat fishing? Was that the Key West? Blasted Cat sent me some videos of cat fishing in the, I suppose, St. John's River with another guy. And it was pretty cool, because I ain't never seen anything like that. So, okay. I made my announcement how we're going to do the live streams announced, but more for special event kind of things. If something's going on, or if there was some really good story, or I'm going to have a good reason. Oh, okay. Yes, that's my junker fish catching glass boat. So I guess Blasted Cat's going to get rid of all of his boats when he gets his custom built Hanko's aluminum boat. He's wanting one like me. Except I want that one that's overall weight, like overall size, like 29 foot. That's what I want, with a 300 Zuki on the back with a jack plate. And I might even say, put me one of them, what do you call them things? Easy buttons. Put me an easy button on the front. I'm going to stand there with my key fob. I'm going to be buzzing around on my trolling motor, my 36-volt trolling motor. I mean, that would be so foreign to me. That would be so far. He says, you dang right. So he's going to get rid of his fiberglass boats when he goes to get his aluminum. So we got another announcement here, and I'm going to let Gary take over here. And if you do not know, this man is a craftsman. He may not he might look like some kind of damn outboard mechanic.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second.
What'd you do? Lose it already?
I'm so sorry. I left it inside when I went inside. I apologize.
Inside? What are you, outside? It's in your pocket.
No. Hold on.
Isn't it in your pocket? Look at him. I'm looking at that flag with the bass. That's so cool. That's so cool. All right. Well, nobody knows it, but Gary is quite a craftsman. In his spare time, he does some really nice stuff. And I doubt that we're going to be able to do what we were thinking here. We got 8 watching right now. 8 are watching right now, and we were going to set a mark here. Okay, it's up to 9. We were going to set a mark, and we were going to do something special for the viewers of this live stream, but I don't know if it's going to get done with low numbers like that. I should say like this guy I watch all the time.
I'm so sorry.
You got the Camp Dave shirt on.
What?
You got the Camp Dave shirt on.
Wait a minute. You got one on too?
I always have one on.
Listen, I hope you don't have AFCO shorts on, because if you do, we're wearing the same outfit, and then I got to go change.
I know that. I don't. Can't you tell what my daily uniform is? I wear nothing but AFCO shorts and one of these shirts every single day.
I knew it. I'm just messing around.
My dad says, I did not know when you got those shirts that it was going to be a permanent part of your body. And I always say, yeah. I mean, I got ones that have been washed so many times, they're not black anymore. They're light gray.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I'm just messing around. But all kidding aside. Well, you know, what I want to do is, if we could hit 20 viewers.
20? I'm going to have to go out and hire people.
Well, if we can hit 20 viewers at one time, I would like to send this to Captain Dave, and he can send it. He can do a raffle, whatever he wants, for one of the viewers. It's a little blade that I redid. Okay, I don't know. My camera isn't that, it doesn't put up that much detail.
Look at folks, file work. Gary
I'll
did
show
that
you.
file work. Explain everything you did to that. Start from the beginning.
Okay, so this is what the original looks like. Okay, it's a Schrade LB7. It's the equivalent of a buck 110. Okay, and I got one fairly cheap on eBay, and I wanted to do a little work on it and make it nice. Now that's the original, and I got some cherry wood, and I upgraded it a little bit. I don't know if you can see the detail on it, but it's got some red liners on it, file work. We did a sharpening choil. It came out pretty damn good, I got to tell you. I'm happy with the way it's not. There's one or two slight imperfections in it, but for an amateur, I mean, it's not bad. And if we can hit 20 viewers, and this is the sheath. If we can hit 20 viewers on a live stream, I want to send this to Captain Dave, and I want to have him do a raffle on it and get it out to one of the viewers.
How's
that sound?
That's mighty nice of Gary to do that, because you replaced the wood on there with cherry wood right from your own yard, right?
Well, what happened was one of my neighbors was cutting down a cherry tree about 2 years ago, and I asked him if I could have a piece of it, and I let it cure in my garage for about 2 years. And when I cut it open, it had such a nice grain to it. I said, "Man, that's got to go on a knife handle," you know. So I did that and a bunch of other stuff, and it came out really nice. It's actually really nice. It's got a nice snap to it, you know, locks up really nice and
Yeah,
solid. And
show them the snap. Show them the snap, because that's the big deal. It's got to have snap, crackle, pop, or man, it just ain't right.
well,
And this one,
yeah, I mean, all you got to do is just wait, and that's it.
Just don't let that
Got good
down
centering,
on your finger.
good centering to it. Yeah, we don't want to have another buck incident, do we? But if we can get 20 viewers at one time, I will send this to Captain Dave. He can raffle it off, and we'll give it to one of the viewers.
All right.
Well,
Well,
that sound the sheath is the Schrade sheath that goes with it.
even a sheath, folks. Even a sheath. Tell your friends and neighbors the next live stream they have a possibility of winning that knife. I mean, we've got 9 viewers right now. So for us to come up with 20 people at one time, woo, man. I mean, it's like asking if the moon will come on down and give us a visit. You know,
Yeah,
it's the same people all the time, most of the time. Nobody new. Well, kind of new, I guess. But that's pretty much that's asking a lot. But maybe I could soup it up and tell people that they're going to be able to win that knife. Now you got to understand what Gary did on that. If you're not a knife aficionado, he did that file work on the back of that knife, and then he changed that wood. Then he put in the red liner. Then you had to probably buff up the brass. He put all new pins in it. This isn't something that you're just going to throw together just in your garage, on a Saturday morning, doing this to a knife.
yeah,
People
it took a
take
while.
knives like this and they do that and then turn around and sell them for triple of what they just bought them for. Because
Yeah, it took a while.
it's almost better than new. It's better than new. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, with what I did to it, I mean, it comes with that whatever Schrade used, on the LB7, whatever they use, it's cherry wood. It's got a much better grain to it. It's much more it's much more attractive to the eye. We put a choil on it, firework on the back. It's a really nice knife. It's really nice. I think whoever it goes to is going to be very happy with it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's something. And let's see, is there any other more commenters here? Oh, Vlad. Hey, Vlad. Glad you could stop by. You missed a lot, Vlad. You missed a lot. But there's a possibility that I don't know. Vlad is a guy that came over and purchased a rod from me. And you know what, Glad? I'm glad I'm keeping those 8-foot ugly stick tiger rods. I had these 8-footers that I was getting away. I was getting rid of, but tomorrow I'll be using them, longer rods. That's the reason I purchased them in the first place, for long distance casting a little bit further. So when I go tomorrow, I'll be putting a big heavy spoon on it and bombing it out there. But one of the things that I was going to give away is a pair of high seas boots, deck boots. They sent me two pair, and I'll show them to you. These are the deck boots, and I'm going to give these away. These are a little bit different than the ones that I showed last live stream and did a video about. They were kind of a grayish color. But these are actually a little more durable because they've got this heavy rubber toe cap on them here. If you watch that video, I described the difference between one model and the other. Here's the big deal. These can go to somebody who wears a 13. I wear a 13, so they sent me 13s. They're really nice. Get them before, I want to hurry up and get them out there before winter is over, because these aren't the kind of things you're going to be wearing in the summertime in Jacksonville, Florida. But on a cold day, wintry day, these are pretty good. They're the neoprene, and they got the rubber on the outside. I'm not going to go that much into super detail with them, but they may not come in the original box because, well, they're kind of big and clunky, and I'm going to have to go with, if it fits, it ships kind of mail. So whoever emails me that has a 13, I know Vlad's a big boy, so maybe he wears a size 13 and would like a new pair of brand new high C boots that come with a lifetime warranty even. I did an entire video about these. You can find them on my channel under, what did I put them under? Tools of the Trade or something like that, possibly, on my playlist. They got the little bump back here. You can see how this sticks out. That's for kicking them off. They got a sneaker type of bottom on them. It doesn't pick up rocks or anything like that. As I said in my video about these, the only thing is that they're a little warm. On a warm day, for me personally, they're warm because they're made for colder weather and stuff like that. And Vlad just said, I'm a 13. Anybody else a 13 out there? Because if so, speak now or forever hold your peace. Because what I want you to do is email me your address, and you will get, if I get numerous people that are size 13, then I'm going to do the random picker. I'm going to do, even if there's only like 2 or 3 of you, I'm going to do the random picker. That's a service, that's a website thing. I don't know if it's connected with YouTube or not, but I've used it before. When Scotty Kilmer was giving away everything in his entire shop, when he moved from Houston to Tennessee, he used a random picker to ship all the stuff to people.
And if you win those boots, you can live the lifestyle.
Yes, these come with a lifestyle.
Hold on, Dave. You want to see my Scotty Kilmer impersonation?
Oh, of course.
That's about it.
Did you know that Scotty Kilmer went out to dinner with his wife,
hit the waitress in the face with his hand, and got kicked out?
No, his wife has to wear a football helmet to dinner. That guy cracks me up, but I love him. I love him because he's old school and he knows more than what most people done forgot. Just like my old sea daddy, Captain Randall. Captain Randall knew more than most people. He forgot more than what most people ever know.
That's one thing I wanted to ask you, Dave.
Yeah.
One of these days, could you possibly, if you're in the mood, give us one Captain Randall story? I want to hear just one. If you could. You think about it, don't even answer.
I've got them. I've got one that would knock your
Oh, I know you do.
But to dedicate an entire video to it?
No, not an entire video. Just maybe on one of the future live feeds, just a quick, something, listen, I've known many. I never knew, never met Captain Randall, never spoke to him, but I know guys like that, and the stories that they have to follow them are incredible.
Oh
So if
yeah.
you can maybe think about it, maybe just one
Well, maybe
story,
I could do a wolf tail video about it
that'd be fine. That'd be fine.
because we did charters together. Him on his boat, me on mine. He'd have some guys. I had some guys. I don't know. Did I ever tell the story about the guy who died on my boat?
Yes, you did. You put a. I think
Oh,
that was.
Yeah.
I think I had asked you what was the worst experience you ever had, and that the video came out about that, if I remember right.
I did a wolf tale about it where I talk about what happened. But the thing that always cracked me up is Randall was there, right? He met me.
You never said that. You never said Captain Randall was there.
Well, he met me back at the dock when we were offloading this guy
Okay.
And they were into the ambulance, right? And he comes pulling up after all this is done. And I'm pushing away from the dock, and I'm like, oh my God. I was like getting ready, calling my dad at work and telling him what happened. My dad, I think, was still working back then. And I called, and Randall pulls up with 3 20-year-olds on his boat, and he goes, "Hey, what happened?" I said, "I think Bob's dead. I think Bob died." And he goes, "Oh, so he stiffed you, huh?" Meaning I never got the balance of the trip.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, David Carrillo says, "I can be a 13 for those." Blasted Cat says, "Got me by an inch, Vlad." Okay, and Blasted Cat says, "Stories of myself and uncle commercial hook and line fishing in the 80s. People would die." Yes, you told the tarpon story about the guy that checked out on you. Yep. I couldn't remember if I did or not, but Captain Randall was there. It was because of him. He was a crazy, crazy SOB and one of the best fishermen I ever knew. But at the same time, when it came to push, come to shove, I'm so glad he was there because back then we had those Nextel Direct Connects, those little walkie-talkie cell phones. And I remember grabbing mine and going, Randall, I think something happened to Bob." This is while we were fishing and Bob's dead, And Randall goes, "Okay, hang on a second." And he went and called 911 and he got the fire department that was right up the street on land from where we were up in Amelia Island, Florida. And they came down. And I mean, when Randall heard there was an emergency, he was on it like stink. If it was, anybody else, they would have maybe, he was right. I was in a piece of water here and there was an island or a big grass strip here or something, and he was just on the other side, but I couldn't see him. So I knew he was close. All right. Vlad says, "Do you get people seasick on your boat?" Are you kidding? We're talking like I go to the jetties, and these are the same people who talk so much smack about, "Oh, yeah, I want to go offshore. I want to go bait say fishing." And they can't even go to the jetties.
Yeah, those are the deep sea. Those are the deep sea fishing people, aren't they, Dave?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they got to go deep sea fishing, and they're throwing up. I did a video all about people throwing up on my boat. It was the thumbnail, which you can't even tell, and I didn't realize until afterwards. I stole the picture from someplace else, to be honest with you, and the girl's topless. But she's just got little boobies. You can't hardly see them in the picture there. And she's hanging over the side with a stream coming out of her mouth. A girl with like pigtails or something and a do-rag on her head or something like that.
Yeah, well, boobies, puking, it just takes the whole thrill of it away,
I kind of cropped the picture, and you kind of see a little bit of But I looked at the regular picture afterwards and I went, holy shit, there's her tits.
Yeah.
So
The puke just takes away from that somehow.
yeah,
I don't know.
they just probably picked her up by her feet and dumped her in the water.
Yeah.
Okay. Vlad says, my dad was watching your video with two big boys when one of them couldn't reel that fish in. Oh, yeah. I get that all the time, too. All the time. People can't handle a real fish. So they may say to themselves, you know, well, I don't know. This wasn't like I thought it was going to be. I mean, there's so many people that can't handle fish. Let's see. Blasted Cat says 20-foot John boat with an 88 Johnson special. Made a good living back then, but that went back when we had fish in the river. I miss those days.
The 88 Johnson special. That was something special.
Yeah. Yeah, I did the hook and line thing for just to make extra coin back in the day with whiting. And then I fished with a buddy of mine all the time who had all of his permits and all that. At least he said he did. And we constantly did like 48-hour trips offshore. And a 23-foot T-Craft that was converted from a T-Craft Playboy cabin boat, inboard, outboard, into a straight shaft inboard center console. Many a day we sat out there about 58 miles offshore catching beeliners as fast as you could catch them, and had longliner boats calling us on the radio about how long are you going to be in that area over there? And we're like, who's that? That was a longliner boat out there setting his 20 miles of baited hooks and stuff. That was some good old days back then. Let's see what's wait a minute here. It's called the myth that seasickness makes you blind. Yep. I did that video talking about the seasickness. Is correct. Yep.
I never heard that. Is that
I
supposed to
had a customer that was a friend of my dad's. We were out. We were on the coming around the end of the South Jetty or something, and I did a wolf tale about this story about it, that he was so seasick, and this was in my Maycraft, so it was a long time ago. And I'm going through around the end of the South Jetty. You always get, depending on the tide, it's all choppy and nasty with the river current in between. And I'm going through the waves and everything. And he's standing next to me. And he's banging into me and everything. And his name was Joe. And he said something like, I'm so seasick. And I'm like, hang on, we're going up in the river. Don't worry. We're getting out of here, because it was rough as a cob. Right. And he turns to me and he says, I'm going blind. I can't see. And I'm like, what? WTF? I mean, I'm like, what? Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, that's the video that has the thumbnail of the girl throwing up. Oh, man, can you believe this, Gary? I got people that actually pay attention.
Yeah.
I don't remember the videos. I can't even remember. I mean, so yeah, people, seasick is one of those things that a lot of people don't know how to handle, you know. I got so many seasick stories, but that's all. They're all the same. Everybody thinks they're, badass, and then once you get them out there, it's not. So
I got seasick once.
Once?
I think I was about 13 or 14 years old, and it was pretty rough out. It was out in the ocean. I mean, I wasn't by myself, obviously, but after that, I never even came close to getting seasick ever again. It was one time, and that was it.
I noticed one thing that, I won't be seasick, but sometimes I'm on and it hasn't happened lately, but I'd be on somebody else's boat, let's say. Like on that old boat, we were out 58 miles offshore bottom fishing at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it would be getting rough out there or whatever. But half the time, it's because they're inboard boats, the ones that I've been on, and the exhaust is pouring out the back.
That's got something to do with it because you know what? That one time I was on it was a commercial boat, and the diesel, the
Yeah,
diesel coming out, I was breathing it in, and I really think that had something to do with it.
that's been my big downfall. It could be rough. I could be feeling it just a little bit, and then all of a sudden you start breathing in that goddamn fumes. What do they call that? A wet exhaust? A dry exhaust? What is that? Dry exhaust
Uh,
would be a stack, wouldn't it? They call
well,
that a wet exhaust.
wet exhaust would be exhaust coolant water mixed with exhaust gas coming out of the back.
That's what this guy had on a
Right.
350
Yeah.
Chevy sitting underneath the
Yeah.
console, and we'd have to run the engine practically all night long for the sheer fact that one time I opened up his hatch in the back of the boat, a homemade fiberglass hatch, and there was one little car battery sitting in there. We're 58 miles offshore running a big old halogen light coming off the T-top, right? And he's like, I think I'm going to save gas, turn the engine off. So he turns the engine off, and I saw the light kind of dim. And I went, you got, how many batteries do we got plugged in here, man? And he went, oh, the batteries are in the back. And I got down to my hands and knees, opened that hatch, stuck my head in there, and there's this little dinky car battery in there for a whole goddamn boat. And I ran up and turned the key and started the engine and said, we're leaving this son of a bitch running. And this is the guy that owns the boat. He doesn't even care. And I'm like, oh. Wet stack, dry stack, yeah. Almost, let's see. Ron Swanson says almost as many C6 stories as changing anodes on your engine. True. If you look at your manual, I don't know if it's the owner's manual of a Suzuki or a Yamaha or Mercury, or it don't matter, I don't believe. Mine says check and replace and clean every 100 hours or 3 months. So when I change my oil, I always check my anodes, those interior anodes. I don't go all the way through them all the way to that stupid little one down there that's underneath the Tupperware that I got to pull off the Tupperware that I can't get back on. And that's over by the oil, the bottom of the oil pan. You know that one, Gary, right? That one on the
Yeah, it's the one the two pan halves have to come off, and it's hidden up under there. Yeah, it's a pain in the neck to get to.
Oh my god, those damn side, what do they call them, chaps? I just call them Tupperware.
Pan halves.
What do you call them?
You have the engine pan, and they're in two halves. So
Oh, okay. Because that guy Born Again Boating. I haven't seen any of his new videos. I don't know what happened to him, but he calls them chaps.
Is that the Australian guy or?
No, the guy down there that's living the high life down in the Keys.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm confusing him with the other.
Oh,
the
Dengar?
other. Yes,
yes. Dengar Stu. He's living like 25 years in the past out on that island. I mean, I seen him changing a water pump for a guy on the side of the road because I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Biker Don's here. The best Randall story is the garbage can at B&M. Yep, B&M Bait and Tackle. Oh my God, that's the story I'm going to have to tell about Captain Randall.
All right.
It's the garbage can at the bait shop story. That one. It's a fantastic story. And there's only one person in this world, and that would have been old Randall to do what he did. Okay, Ron Swanson says, is this the same Dave you call when your Suzuki gauge takes a dump. Is this the same Dave? No, well, this is the same Gary right here. Oral walk. When it takes a dump in the cold, yeah. I called Gary at 7 o'clock in the morning. This man right here not only rebuilds knives, works on outboards, but he's also referred to as the Jettywolf crew chief, just so you know. This guy right here has got me out of more goddamn absolute. I was ready to just throw it up all in the air. Okay, let's see. What did Blasted Cat says? No more offshore for me after my run in with the Wuhan bug. You mean the China plague? Very susceptible.
Or as Trump would say, China.
Yeah. He's very susceptible to motion sickness now. I know a few more guys that have had this issue after the bug. My research doctors have confirmed this. Well, hey, my mom got it, passed out on the floor of the living room, and came down, banged her face, banged up her arm, everything, and now she's got a goddamn pacemaker for it. So there you go. That's all probably because of the China plague. That goddamn, and you know, I don't know if anybody pays attention to this. Like I said, one of the biggest mysteries in life to me is I don't know what people know. You just don't know because nobody tells me nothing. But if you're paying attention, especially if you're paying attention to somebody like Mark Dice, Pfizer's doing it all over again. You know, they're doing it. Gary, did you see that?
Yes, Pfizer, they're supposedly modifying or mutating the whole thing again.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And that black guy, flamer. That guy was such a flamer. And the Project Veritas, he was a flamer because he is some kind of chief of research and development or something for Pfizer. Then he's, gayered in a $2 bill, and he met a date at a restaurant, another guy, but it wasn't a guy that was on a date. It was a guy that was recording him and asking him questions, and found out this guy starts boasting about, oh yeah, we're like manipulating the virus and we're going to do this. And it's also they can sell more of the antidote, more of the
vaccine,
and all this crap. And then that one guy from Project Veritas walks in, and he starts freaking out. They caught this guy so red-handed, and he's so gay, it's unbelievable. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but
well, Dave, it's like I don't know which comedian said it, but there's no level of so gay. It's you either are or you're not. It's just that simple.
But there's some absolute flamers. You know what I mean? I mean, you can't.
Oh, I think flamboyant is the word that maybe better describe.
Flamboyant flamers.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody would have ever figured in a million years that Rock Hudson, Tom Selleck, and all these other guys are too.
Wait a minute. I didn't know Tom Selleck went that way. Seriously?
I think it was Tom Selleck, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom thinks Mike Rowe is gay.
I don't know. I never got that impression, but I guess, whatever. But if you notice, like with the whole thing with the vaccine and all that, there are so many celebrities and their kids that are dying that were big proponents of the vaccine. Yeah. And they're all dying. They're all having heart attacks and blood clots and things that they shouldn't have at the age that the age where they're at. And it's all, it's all coming back, to haunt, unfortunately. I mean, a lot of those people, even forget celebrities, you see this, and you even took the vaccine, didn't you, Dave?
Yeah, I had the first 2. That was it.
Right. It's got to make you wonder, maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I shouldn't have done it, and you're doing it in good faith. You're doing what you believe is right, what you're led to believe. But, you see all these, Elvis Presley's daughter, she was only 53. She just had a massive heart attack.
Yeah.
The sports player, or there was a bunch of other ones.
All those soccer players and stuff like that had.
Yeah, and they're athletic people. They're all in tip-top, physical shape. It's got to make you wonder what, there has to be, something connected to taking that stuff. There has to be. I'm sorry. Yeah. There's just too many people that are.
Blasted Cat says he's 57 years old now, has a pacemaker from it.
Is that from the vaccine? Is it you feel as though?
No, I mean he had. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I remember him talking about it. Right, that he had it.
Yeah,
he got the China plague or something when nobody even knew what the hell it was. Way back in the beginning.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Blasted Cat says, "I think you mean John Travolta." No, John Travolta. No, it's not John Travolta. It's somebody like Tom Selleck or something. No, is it Tom Selleck? I wish my mom was here because she knows all this stuff. But either way, it's so. Vlad says it's so strange how did they come up with that vaccine in such a short time frame? You got that straight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't fault Trump. He was pushing for it, right? And everything. He was paying him good money to do something about it. That was a political move on his part.
Trying to get the job done, doing his best to get the job done and do something about it.
He's just not going to sit there and let just shit brew. He's going to do something.
Right. But, every time, listen, there were a certain group of people, a certain political affiliation, and they were all pushing and pushing and pushing for people to get this vaccine, and they're still pushing it.
Oh, yeah.
And that group of people, let's put it this way, whenever they want you to do something and they're for something, I have to say to myself, this has to be bad.
Yeah.
It can't be good for you. It's good for them, but it can't be good for you.
Yeah. Now, over in England, they're still pushing the living hell out of it.
Yeah, I know. It's just, like I said, I just, I feel bad for people that have taken it. They were misled. There was information put out there that it wasn't accurate. There wasn't enough research done, and now you got to wonder. Am I going to have a problem? Is something going to happen? Am I going to,
Did you ever get the Fauci jab yourself?
Oh no, sir, no.
I did because the VA was pushing it so hard. The VA was pushing it so hard. It was unbelievable. But they were on the bandwagon big time. But you can kind of understand. A lot of guys that are going to the VA for healthcare. I mean, they're Vietnam vets, and some of these guys are old, and they got problems on top of problems. Which I can't say I don't have any problems.
Yeah.
So either way, Vlad says, Trump, make a surf fishing great again. Shore Sharp says, I caught it, and yes, it sucked for 10 days, but I can't stand needles, and ain't no way they will jab my ass. Oh, well, I'll tell you, because I kind of say to myself, maybe because I had the 2 shots that I had. My mom is the first one who got it, and I happened to be over there. And she got it from the old ladies at the senior center where she goes. And some woman was coughing in her face. And it turns out she didn't know that woman had it. She came home. I was over there. I felt the effects of it literally the next day. And then a couple days later, but it lasted, I don't know. I felt like crap maybe 4 or 5 days. It was like having the flu. And then it was over and boom, done. And I maybe think the vaccine maybe made it that where it wasn't so bad.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. It definitely doesn't prevent it. I mean, people that get it, I know people that have gotten that and the booster, and then the booster after that, and then they still get it. They still got COVID. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think my parents both had boosters and stuff. I mean, they're in their 80s, so they thought maybe that would be it. Blasted Cat says 4 of his doctors here or something are firmly against the jab. Yeah. Did you get more calls when COVID started to take people out on the water, or did it slow down? Vlad's asking. I joke now. This is a total joke that, you can't wait till the next something happens like that, for the sheer fact that I was busier than a one-armed paper hanger, to answer your question, because people wanted to get out and do things. Especially I was taking the kids fishing, and in the summers I don't mind taking the kids fishing, because what am I going to be doing otherwise? Shark fishing every trip. I mean, I'm giving up. I'm not going out trolling. I sold my kicker. I'm just not going to be running out there. And I have the worst luck when people go, "Hey, yeah, man, I want to go out." And I go, "Oh, it was slick calm. Man, we're going to go out and catch a bunch of kingfish." I probably had the worst kingfishing this past summer than I've had in a long time. It's maybe because my heart wasn't into it, but yeah, I was busy, man. To answer your question, Vlad, I was busy. So I'll be busy again if Trump ever comes back. I don't know if anybody's watching his campaign speeches. The man does nothing but speak the truth. Common sense. I mean, he was in New Hampshire, and now he was in South Carolina. I watched his speeches. And I mean, you know how he goes off the cuff. He doesn't follow anything like Sleepy Joe reading from the teleprompter, And he goes off, and I'm with him 150% because the man speaks the truth. I can't. That's my opinion. So what I wanted to do is anybody who is size 13, and it might be Vlad's the only one. Size 13's right here. I will send them to you. Or Vlad, if you're in the neighborhood, stop on by. But email me at jettywolf@gmail.com. 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 And I'll get these out to you because I've got 2 pairs and I don't actually need a second pair. Blasted Cat says, I think I recall an old video where you talked about working for Cito. Might think about some crazy recovery stories. I only had really one. I didn't work for Cito. I worked for Towboat US. Cito would never hire me because they were always full up with people. I mean, they're like the benchmark, I guess. So a guy I worked with, he was running he had the franchise, and he was running such a shoestring operation. But yeah, I mean, I did 2 black and white recoveries. Black and white. So one was like so fantastic and easy, and it wasn't what you would think of. And then I did one time that was just the people that I was towing had to rescue me. How about that? That's how shitty the Towboat US boats were. I think it was a 1977 26-foot Mako with twin 4-stroke 200s Yamahas on the back that never, ever saw service. And the boat was perpetually sinking. Think about that for a second. Sinking. It had holes in the transom where they put a bracket on it, but never filled the holes for where the engine used to be or something with the engine bolts. And it was like you'd look down the bilge and you'd see like daylight going in and out of the water and water just pouring in. And they called this a towboat. Short Sharp says, I wear size 13. All right. So now we got Vlad 13 and we got Ryan Short Sharp 13. So both of you email me. And what I'm going to have to do is, like I said, I'm going to do a random picker, even if it's with 2 people. I can do a random picker, blah, 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 boom, and let the computer pick it. Okay. Vlad says, if you don't have a towboat prepaid, do you know how much it is to call them? Oh, yeah. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
4, probably close to 5. 4, close to 5.
I think they're up to at least 150 an hour now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. And that's from when they leave the dock. So if you're sitting up there in Fort George, especially if you have to jump some sandbars and, all this, and you're outside the bridge or something like that, they got to all the way up there. That's Nassau Sound Bridge from the Mayport boat ramp is, I believe, about 19 nautical miles. So let's say it's 18 nautical miles to come get you in Fort George and then tow you back on an hourly basis. Now, your boat insurance should have a clause in it that it'll pay. Okay. Laughing Cat says $350 an hour from the time of dispatch now for Boat US. $350 an hour. Where the hell have I been? $350 an hour. But usually you look it up and you've got on your insurance, you could have unlimited towing or something like that.
Dave, can you put one of those tow hitches on the back of the Jettywolf? It might pay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, I always tell people all the time, I don't tow them. I'm not going to tow anybody because I'm not going to hurt my engines.
$350 an hour. That's good money. I'll tell you that.
So Vlad says, so it's a lot better to pay $170 a year. Yeah. Yep. That's crazy. All right. I know Blasted Cat says he just knows somebody just found out the hard way. Well, I used to have sea tow, and I didn't have it as long as I had my kicker on the back because my kicker could get me back no matter what, basically. And then when I took my kicker off and sold it, I said to myself, and I didn't do it, I'm going to take some of the money that from the selling the kicker, and I'm going to go to sea tow and get the yearly plan. Here's the problem. I looked up sea tow. Before, I used to have just a gold plan, 100 and something or other a year. Now, all of a sudden, for commercially registered vehicles, as in commercial fishing, charter, this and that, $350 a year or something. Really? Really? It's the same thing as warranties on an outboard. There is guys going out on the weekends that fish 10 times more than I do. Because when do I? It's not because you're in the charter business doesn't mean you're fishing just more than everyone else. That's why they got a 1 year on an outboard. But Billy Bob Hobnob down the street with his boat, he just bought a brand new Suzuki. He can get 6 years. Well, what's the difference? Billy Bob Hobnob goes out every Saturday and Sunday, rain or shine or snow or ice or sleet or whatever, and the charter guys over here canceling trips or having to deal with some absolute scumbag in Washington that wants to put everybody out of business because, like I said, I get a million tire kickers and nobody wants to go. So that's that issue. So, well, we got the knife and we got the boots. The knife, we're going to wait. Oh, my God. Let's see. Didn't we say something about 14, Gary?
14?
Before we went live, we said 14. We were going to give the knife away at 14.
Well, I think you said 14 viewers, but we'd do it at 20. Or something like that. I don't remember exactly.
20, but we're at 13 right now. I was thinking 14 myself.
Well, you want to see it again? I'll do 3D.
3D. Okay, there we go. But
how's that?
You can win this knife. You can win this knife. And I have to be able to contact these people here some which way or other. How am I going to contact anybody? Yeah, we said 20. But before we went live, me and Gary were talking, and I said something. How about 14? We just had 14 drop right back down to 10. So getting 20 out of a live stream on this channel, woo, man. So we're going to have to come up with something else for that knife. I don't know if it's going to be able to be a live stream or not. It might have to.
No, Blasted Cat said you said 20.
Yeah, I said that's what we're doing. But I remember when we were talking prior to hitting the live button here, I thought I said something. How about 14 or something like that?
Right.
We do a lot of talking before we ever go live.
Right. Well, I mean, you listen. You decide. What 14, 20, whatever you want to do, Dave. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it says call up Victor iFish and have him on your show sometime. I watched one of his videos today, and man, he's a strange duck. And I could tell him straight to him, you're a strange duck. I mean, I just don't get it. I don't get the difference between a soft plastic that's this long and another soft plastic that's this long. That the fish are down there saying to themselves, you throw me that Japanese metal flake purple little plastic that's from Japan, and I might eat it. But this one, that's from, what was he throwing? Z-Man baits or something. But if you throw me that Z-Man, I don't think I'm going to eat it. I think Victor needs to go saltwater fishing. Okay. I think he needs to go saltwater fishing and realize that these fish don't give a shit. They're either going to eat their little plastic or they're not.
Listen, Dave, I got to tell you, I went out. I'll tell the guys that are watching. I went out with my friend, my buddy that I always go with. Dave knows who I'm talking about. And we were catching nothing but dogfish, which are sand sharks, and sea robins. Nothing. Yeah, I mean, I moved. I moved a bunch of times. The bottom was like littered with them. And my buddy that I was with, we got tired of using bait. We got tired of using gulp. he ate a sandwich. It was in a foil wrapper, the aluminum foil wrapper.
Mm-hmm.
I said to him, you know what? Wrap that around the hook and jig it. A piece of aluminum foil wrapped around a bare hook and jig it. Within 2 minutes, guess what? Another dogfish, and then after that, another sea robin on aluminum foil.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're gonna feed, man. When they're hungry, they're gonna eat.
Well, I watched what Dave Carrillo here is talking about. iFish. He's the guy who sent me um, the microphones to clip on, the lavalier. I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
the little dead rabbit one for my light here with the fuzzy on it. The
Didn't
little
he
red
move?
light.
He moved from Illinois to like
Yeah,
uh,
outside of Memphis, Tennessee, or something.
right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And I don't watch every one of his or anything, but I tune in. I do a tune in, I call it. And I watched. He was in Alabama or something. I don't know. He didn't say, number one, why he was there. He doesn't seem like he works anymore. He must be just independently wealthy. Um, I don't know, but he was fishing in some lake, and he was going back and forth and talking about these little plastics and catching these fish called skipjacks or something. They're some kind of. They look like bait fish to me. I mean, they're like this big. They look like a threadfin herring or something on steroids, kind of thing. And I was saying to myself, my God, is this really the way the freshwater guys are? Oh well, that little purple plastic. I mean, he was using soft plastics that were like a little inch long or something, and he was getting in all the details about them or something. He loves buying stuff from Japan or whatever, I guess. And he was mentioning the brands or something. And I said to myself, does that matter? Because I know in the fresh water, I think people get obsessed with that kind of stuff. And you go in salt water, I've caught sea bass on a banana peel, jigged on a banana peel, on a jig head.
Yeah.
Okay. I pulled out my knife and I kind of cut it in the shape of a fish with a tail and pinned it on and was I caught sea bass that same day on smoked sausage links that a guy had on the boat. We kind of sit them out in the sun and they got all kind of juicy out in the heat, right? And we had them in like a tinfoil bowl that we made and set them up on the bow, and they got all like heated up and they were getting kind of greasy, and we all started using them. We caught I had kids catch bluefish and ladyfish one time, and they were taking a jig head and putting gummy bears on them and casting them at the jetties, and they were catching bluefish and ladyfish in the springtime. I don't know if all this stuff matters. You know what I mean? So, get you some gold spoons, 52 red and white MR, and a Johnny Rattler, and go fishing. Well, I got tons of gold spoons. I got all the damn mirrorlures. I got an entire mirrorlure collection, and I got a top water. It's not a Johnny Rattler, but tomorrow I'm going to concentrate on the gold spoon thing. The Johnsons, I got the Sidewinder, Acme Sidewinders. I got ones that have all kind of supposed different actions, different weights. Because around here, you have to worry about what the current is doing. You got to move around where the current isn't blasting. And I'm going to try to get up in some. I got a couple little shallower spots I'm thinking about trying. So that's going to be tomorrow. I'm going to leave out of here. I don't know either after all the Navy traffic or before the Navy traffic. I don't know.
Dave, do you think those weed guards on those lures are gonna? You think they're gonna stay on there, or you maybe might take them off?
Well, freshwater guys absolutely swear by them.
Yeah, I know. I just
But
whenever I got anything with those, I took it off.
I watched a guy today that was throwing it up on some oysters, and he says it was ricocheting off of the oysters. I'll keep it on there. I even watched a guy who did a cool little mod for the bass crowd. It doesn't matter for saltwater. He took the weed guard of a Johnson silver minnow and he cut it off. And he left it about that long at the top of the spoon. And then he put a little crook in it, put a little hook in it. And then he runs a soft plastic up on that and then runs the soft plastic into the hook, like a worm hook. And the soft plastic lays along it, but still can get out of the way when the fish bites it, and then casts it out and runs it across the top of weeds and stuff.
Right. I mean, I always found that, with the eelgrass we have here and the ripping ass tides that we get, it really wasn't just, it didn't do that much.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't necessary.
I'll see. Yeah, it's not that necessary for me.
I'll bet you they come off. I'll bet you have them off
Well, if I lose fish because of it, they'll come off.
Oh yeah, well that goes without saying. But I'll bet they'll come off. I'll bet you wind up taking them off. I have that feeling. They don't. It's like I said. I tried it with them, and when the tide, freshwater guys, they don't put up with the tides and the current that we put up with, and when it's that severe, something like that just doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If there's weed there, it's going to get wrapped. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, we'll see tomorrow. It's all experimentation. All the ones that I've had before and have caught reds and trout and flounder on and stuff was all pretty much out of my 17-foot Carolina skiff that I used to fish out of years and years ago. And we were up in shallow water around oyster beds. And I think I kept the weed guard on then. I don't think I ever got rid of them or anything. I just bent it down or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
I'll see tomorrow. But let's see. We only got 9 people here, but I asked everybody a favor on my community page, and I posted, if you see this banner going across the bottom right here, all new website, CaptainDaves.com. Check it out. If everybody could or would eventually go to CaptainDaves.com, CaptDaves.com, and check out my new website. It loads like that. I am so happy. It's a one-page website. If you don't know, it's in old HTML instead of WordPress. That's how they build them. And I had a Canadian guy do it for me. Great guy. It's got a lot going on. It's a lot of colors. It comes right up on a phone. The whole idea is for it to come up on a phone fast and be able to be scrolled and zoomed out and all that crap you have to do on a phone. Or you can look at it on a laptop. It is just far and away from a website that I paid probably $3,000 for from start to finish. And this guy was Johnny on the spot. So I can't recommend him anymore. He's all the way up in Nova Scotia, Canada. So let's see. Dave Carrillo says, how do you like the Star rods you swapped over to? Well, I got all kinds of, as a matter of fact, I got 4 that I bought that I'm not even using. And I just can't. I mean, I got them for like $220 right now on goddamn eBay. I mean, nobody is buying anything. That's the problem I have. But the ones with the anti-foul guides, love them. I got those other ones too, those tsunamis, love them. I didn't actually swap out. I swapped out for bottom fishing for bull reds and for shark fishing in the summer versus the little shorter ugly stick jigging rods I was using. because people were just snapping the damn. Believe it or not, people were snapping ugly sticks like going out of style there last summer.
And that's hard to do.
And it's hard to do, but it's done from pure ignorance of fishing and stuff like that. So they can't do that with those stars. Those star rods are not gonna snap, and neither are those tsunamis. And those anti-foul guides, I've always loved those anti-foul stainless guides.
The snake guys. The
Yeah.
snake guys.
I'm fishing heavier line. It doesn't matter. You know, I heard one guy say, "Oh, even on those anti-foul or snake guides, whatever you want to call them, oh, braid will carve a groove in them." Really? I'm not using braid. I'm using recycled HDPE plastic liter bottles that go over to China, and they melt them down and make Hercules braid out of it. There's no Spectra. That line. A lot of people think when they're using braid, they're using Spectra, Kevlar, this and that. No, not anymore. That's how they keep in braid.
All I can tell you is if you're burning a hole in guides, that's actually a good thing. You know what I'm saying? I would love to burn a few guides up from fishing, you know, with catching fish. That would be a great thing. That's like my goal, you know?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Absolutely. I mean, if I'm grooving the stainless steel guides with,
you're doing something. Yeah, you're doing something right. If you are,
I'm doing, man. Yeah, I'm burning down the house, baby. All right, so let's just briefly go back over this. If you wear size 13 and you want a chance at these boots right here, you want some Mickey Mouse boots, but who cares? When you're out fishing or doing yard work or something like that, who gives a crap, right? Who cares? This may not be the best color in the world, but these are actually the color of Extra Toughs. Brand spanking new. Never put them on my feet. Guaranteed for life. And we're going to have the knife, Gary's knife. I don't know what we're going to do with that yet, but we'll be doing something with it because Gary's going to send it to me and it will be in my possession. And then I'll be able to give it away. You know, I watch this guy. I don't know if anybody ever sees this. There's just this guy. He's where is he, in South America or something? I don't know. He's not in the United States. His name is Davey 504, and he's a bass player. He plays the guitar. He's got a long, skinny face, black hair, and I have to say he does these videos that are just crazy. You know, when they play the bass, you can strum it, and you can pluck it, and then you can slap at that bass. Boom, 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 with their fingers, like they just slap it, right? And he calls himself kind of like the slap master and all. Very entertaining videos. He does all this back and forth with the camera, with software or something. And at the end of his videos, he goes like this. Slap! If you give me 50,000 more subscribers, I'll be sending you some kind of custom guitar or something, right? And that's what he does. He stands there with his hand up, and he looks at it, and he goes, slap! I mean, it's just funny, right? But he always connects that many times to thumbs up, subscribers. He does challenges with other bass players, especially in Japan. It seems like they got some unbelievably talented young girls playing the bass over there. That is just unbelievable. And he does these challenges with them. And of course, they're doing it on Reddit and all these other platforms out there that I never heard of. I'm plugging my phone in because it's about to go dead. I do not know why, but it's It's going dead quickly a lot lately. There we go. Did that noise come through?
Yeah.
You can hear that?
Yep.
Well, I'll plug it in over here instead. Uh-oh. Okay. It's bringing up all kinds of crap here. Let's see. What the hell? Okay. So he just does all this, and he obviously, I mean, the guy's got thousands and thousands and thousands of subscribers. But it's always funny how he goes slap like that, and he goes and asks people for 50,000 views or something. It's always funny. But what we're going to do is we're going to give away Gary's knife one way or another. And if you email me, we'll get these boots. It looks like there's 2 contenders for the boots, at least 2 contenders. So that's about it. I learned about the Vortex hubs. I'm going to look into that to see about those oil bath hubs. That's what I wanted to know about. And now you know that if you're ever in the wanting to purchase a new boat trailer and you want it to last for like ever with no maintenance. I mean, even on torsion bar axles, sometimes you got to take out the torsion bar. Axles, even if it's a torsion bar on the end, you've got the torsion bar, and then it's galvanized and it dips like that with a drain hole in the bottom, and they fill it full of salt water. And then that axle will rot from the inside out. No, not on a Rolls axle trailer. You don't have any of those issues. I mean, just look it up. It's Rolls, ROLLS dash axle, AXLE.com, I believe. Rollsaxle.com. Let me see. I got it right here in my favorites, I think. Well, maybe I don't. All right. Well, either way, rollsaxle.com. That's I wouldn't buy any other trailer. If I was to buy a brand new boat, I'd have to go get me a Rolls axle. So it's done very, very, very well for me. All right. Well, let's pack her up here. It's been 2 hours and 2 minutes, and boy, the time flies when you're having fun, huh, Gary?
Time to pull up, man.
All right. Let's pull up stakes. Shore Sharp says, I'm a fan of Trump. There ain't no way they will let him run again. Well, he's running.
Nah. He's going to run again. He's going to run. He is running. He's going to run.
But the thing about it is, will he be nominated as the candidate for the Republican Party?
Oh, I think so.
You think so?
I think so, and he can even run as an independent if he doesn't.
True. But at the same time, you know, Hillary's got her playbook. She just has to open up the playbook and go, okay, this is what we got to do first. This is what we got to do second. All the way down to where it's election day. This is what we got to do 50th. They got it. It's all written down. There's probably like a secret manifesto of how to do an election these days, you know. So I'll leave you with that. All right, folks, thanks for stopping by. There's 10 of you still here. And let's see if there's any other comments. Let's see. Vlad says, even a blind man can see now. We lived net. What?
We lived net?
I don't know. There's a translation problem there with your voice. What do you call it? Voice, this thing.
Recognition.
Voice recognition or something.
Yeah.
Proud of, let's see, Blasted Cat says, see you later. Proud American Ultra MAGA Florida. Deplorable. Yes. It is. I never had such a better feeling being a deplorable. All right. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget, email me your at jettywolf@gmail.com so we can do something with these boots because I personally don't need them. Thanks, Dave Carrillo. Thanks for taking your time to stop on by to visit. And don't forget, next time we're going to do the live stream if there's a special something going on or whatever. But I will always let you know, usually in a prior video or a community post or something like that. All right. So see you later, Gary. Thanks for stopping
All right,
by.
buddy.
Thanks
Good
for,
talk, man. Good seeing you. Good seeing all the viewers.
Thanks for
God
showing
bless.
us. Thanks for showing us your new Bass American flag.
All right, man. Bye-bye.
All right. See y'all later. Thanks a lot.